Hello everyone, welcome to my 7th Python course. In this course, we are going to be working with if-else conditional statement in Python. So let's begin. So to begin with conditional statement in Python, we have this text file which is if is good, then you are good to go, keep coding. So how can we put this into code? So let's move to this if statement.py. So to begin with if statement in Python, the syntax is that we are going to type if condition, your condition like this, then the next one will be do this. Now, so it means that if this is true, then execute what is under this code. So let's put this into code. So if we say that we have this file, if is good, so let's set good, like is good like this, equal to true. So let's say that if is good, print, you are good to go. Also print, keep coding. So let's run this Python code. We have this output which is you are good to go, keep coding. So it means that is good is equal to true. So if we set is good to be equals to false and print if is good, then let's run this Python code. We are not going to get anything because is good is not equals to true. So as I have said at the beginning, I said if this condition is true, it will only execute what is under this if statement. So it's not true, so we are going to get nothing because this is equals to false. So let's set this back to true, like this. Is good is equal to, sorry about that, is good is equal to true. So I only type good like this. So let's run this. We have you are good to go, keep coding. So let me use a number as just an example. So let's check if a certain number is divisible by 2. So if a number is divisible by 2, let's write the pseudo code first. So if a number is divisible by 2, like 4 divided by 2, we have this as 2 remainder 0, right? So if a certain number is divisible by 2, it will always have a remainder 0. So let's write the code. So we can say that if, firstly, let's set a variable to be a num is equals to integer input. We want the user to input something to the screen, input a certain number like this. So we can see that if number, we are going to be using the modulo operator. If number modulo 2 is equal to 0, then we can say that print, let's use a formatted string. So we can say that num like this is divisible by 2. Now let's run this code. We have the first code, which is you are good to go and keep coding, and also the number. Let me input 5. We are going to get nothing because 5 is not divisible by 2. Now let me rerun the code and let me input something like 16. We have 16 is divisible by 2, and that is just it for if statement. Now let's move to if else statement. And we are going to be working with if statement more in our future course. This is not just if, we are still going to be working with if else conditional statement in Python. So we have this code which is an if is cool, go and do coding. Otherwise, that means if it's not cool, go and rest. So let's see that. Let's move to if else conditional statement. We have the if is cool. So let's set is cool assuming we set is cool to be equals to false because it's not cool at all. So we have go and do coding. So if is cool, print go and do coding like this. Else, which is the otherwise, we are going to be using the else statement here. Else print go and the rest. Let's run this code. If else statement. So we have this go and arrest because is cool is equals to false. So if I set is cool to be equals to true like this, we are going to get our output as go and do coding because is cool is equals to true. Now if you are cool, you can code. If you are okay, you can code. You can code. So if it's cool like this, print go and do coding, else print go and the rest. Now back to this if statement, we just roll a code here. We have num, which is the integer input number. If number is divisible by 2, print this is divisible by 2. So what can we do next? So we can just copy this code here and paste it in if else statement like this. So we have this number, which is the integer input. If num modulo 2 is equals to 0, print num is divisible by 2. So what if the num is not the number is not divisible by 2? So we can just say that else print like this. So let me just copy this here. Like this is not divisible by 2. So run this code. So Python is waiting for me to input something to the screen. So let me input 7. We can get the output as 7 is not divisible by 2, and which is really true because 7 is not divisible by 2. Also, you can just do this like this. So if num modulo 2 is not equals to 0, so just interchange this. So we just have to interchange this like this. So this should be here. So run the Python code. Now let me input 7. We have 7 is not divisible by 2. Now here we use the not equal to operator, which is if number modulo 2 is not equals to 0, print number is not divisible by 2, else print the number is divisible by 2. That's just for it for if else statement. Now let's move to else if statement. This is very big, I'd say. So we have the next pseudocode. We have this if is cool, go and code. Else if you are bored, play games, read some PDFs. Otherwise, take a nap. Now let's put this into code. So we have this if is cool, go and code. So if you are cool, you can code. Else if you are bored, let me put this. Else if you are bored, you can either play games or read some PDFs to learn more about coding. Otherwise, take a nap. So this otherwise really means that if it doesn't satisfy these two, then do this. So let's move to else if statement. We have is cool. Let me create a new variable. Is cool to be equals to true like this. So if is cool, right? If is cool, print go and code. Then after the if, we are going to be using the else if, but in Python is not written as else if, it is elif. So we have this elif. Elif is cool. Uh, is cool is false, right? Um, we got an error here because we can't use this is. We can only use this to sorry, this is it. Okay, this is actually my error. Elif is cool, so we can use is. Sorry about that. So if is cool is false, then print what are we going to be printing? Play games or read some PDFs. So let's see that. Play games or I want a new line here. Read some PDF portable data format. So we have the else, which is a print taken up. Now let's run this. So we have the first one. Sorry, I have to run the else if statement. I'm actually running the if else statement. So this is the else if statement. So we have the output as go and the code. It means that is cool is equals to false. So what can we do to satisfy this? So it is by setting that this is equals to false. So if is cool is equals to false, you can. It means that you are bored, right? So if this is false, you're going to get play games or read some PDFs. So what if I say something like this, right? So let's run this. We have this call and code. Now looking at this Python code, this is the string, right? Let me see that this is it. So it means that in Python, for every string you put here, it is always true. So unless you put something like 0, so that will be false. So that is take a nap. So let's input 1. We are going to get go and code. Now, to understand the Python code, we have the logic operator, which is 0. We have the 0. 0 is false and 1 is true in Python. So if I should input something like is cool is equal to 1, so this actually means that if is cool, so it means that we just said if is cool, it means that it is true already and the 1 is also true. Unless I say that if is cool is true, right? So we have this as taken up. Now looking at this code, so because is cool is not true, but on a normal scenario we have 0 to be false, 1 to be true. But if is cool is true, but 1 is cool is equal to 1, then we are going to get go and code unless you remove this. So around this we are going to get go and code. So this is go and code. Let me paste this back. Now we have this as if school is false. Of course, school is equals to 0. So it's not true, it's not false, it is this else. So we are going to get our output as take a nap. Unless you remove this is false and add not. Elif not is cool. Now run this Python code. We are going to get play games, read some PDF. So this not operator is the opposite of true. So if we say that not 1, not 0 is 1 and not 1 is 0, that is how Python run its code. So let me set back this to be equals to true. So we can see that if is school is false, then we are going to get go add code. And that is just it for else if conditional. Else if conditional statement. But let us write a program to check if a number is positive, if a number is zero, and if a number is negative. Now looking at this code, now the pseudocode should be if a certain number is greater than zero, it means that this is positive. We can call this positive, right? This is the pseudocode. So if a certain number is less than zero, we can say that this is a negative, right? Negative. And if a number uh if a number is equal to zero, we can say that this is zero, right? Now to run this Python to put this pseudocode into a normal code, so we have to create a variable by saying that num is equals to, I want the user to input something to the screen. We can say that num is equals to input, right? Input a certain number. So let it be an integer. We don't want a float number here. So we can also make it a float, but just leave it as an integer. So we can say that if num is greater than zero, then print, we can print, um, let me use the formatted string, num is positive. Because it is greater than zero, then we can use elif num is less than zero, print this num, we consider num is negative, right? Else print number is zero. Now looking at this code, we have if num is greater than zero, the number is positive. Else if num is less than zero, the number is negative. Else we have the number as zero. So we don't have any other number again. Either the number is greater than zero or the number is less than zero. So if the number is greater than zero or it is less than zero, we only have one number left, which is only the zero. So it doesn't matter like writing elif num is equals to number, like is equals to zero like this. So we don't need that, just have to write this less than. So let's run this Python code. We have the number, so let me input -6. So we can say that -6 is negative. Let me input something like 8. We have 8 is positive. Let me input something like 0. We have 0 is 0. Or you can just leave it like that. Since it is 0 like this, just return the number like that. So you don't need to use this formatted string. So you can just return the number like that. So 0, we have the output as 0. Or we can see that neutral. This is simple neutral. Let's see that this num is neutral, right? So Let me check for typo. Sorry. Okay, this isn't what I typed before. I actually typed NUE, so it should be NEU, neutral. That was just my silly mistake. So 0 is neutral. That is it. So I hope you guys understand this code. Let's move to let's write a program that checks if um a year is a leap year. So before we write this here, we are going to be writing this in a nested conditional statement. So let's move to nested. I don't have any studio code for nested conditional statement because it's pretty logical. So let me just write a program for it. So we can say that year like this, year is equals to integer input a year like this. So after inputting a year, we are going to write a program that checks if the year is a leap year. So for every year, we only have 4 years to get the next leap year. So we can say that if year module 4 is equal to 0, then do this. But we cannot just do it like that. We also have some years that are not we don't have some 2000s or stuff like that, but we also have some um years that are AD after death, after the birth of Jesus Christ. So we can see that if like this, if year module 100 is equal to 0 like this, then another if statement. If year module 400 is equal to 0 like this, then we can say that print this is a leap year. So we can say that year um, is a leap year. Then moving back, leaving this if block statement. Sorry about that. So leaving this if block statement, then the next one will be else like this. Then after typing else, for this we need to execute this first. So else print the certain year is not leap year, right? Then moving back to the next if block, so we can see that else again the year is a leap year. Print I type multiple things, so I just have to copy. Control V. Then after typing that, so this will be else is not leap year. This is pretty hard to understand, right? So let me input my year 2003. So we have 2003 is not leap year. What about 2004? 2004 is a leap year. Of course, 2004 is a leap year. And what about 19 let's say that 1980. We have the 1980 is a leap year because this is divisible by is it divisible by 4? So let me input my let me Let me open a calculator. So 1980 divided by 4. I don't want to use some kind of weird number theory in my code because I can just check if this is divisible by 4 using number theory. So we have 1980 is divisible by 4. So because it is 495. That is just it. So let me quickly explain this code. We have year is equals to input an integer number. So if year model 4 is equals to 0, also we use the nested if statement. So if year model 100 is equals to 0, and if year model 400 is equals to 0, print year is a leap year. So if this is this, what this code is trying to do is that if this conditional statement is true, and also if this is true, execute this, right? So if this is false, it's not going to execute this if statement. And if this is if this is false, it's not going to execute this. If this is false, it's not going to execute this if statement. So because this is true, and also this is true, so print year is a leap year, else print year is not leap year, and also this else of this print year is a leap year, because it satisfies this but doesn't satisfy this. Else print year is not leap year, meaning if it doesn't satisfy this, your output should be is not a leap year. Now let's move to logical conditional statement. So in this logical conditional statement, let me start directly without any studio code. So I just have to think now before starting. So let me think about something. Okay, let's talk about coder. So let's say that if a coder um, has finished his project and is tired, then we have to print something. Or if he hasn't done any of the two, we have to print something to the screen. So let's say that he's tired, right? So let's set is tired to be equals to true, and also we can also set it to false, but let's continue this code. Is tired is equals to true, then the next one should be as finished project. So we can see that this is equals to true. So for this Python code, so if it's tired and as finished project, then we can print take some rest. Then Elif is not tired. So I have to type Elif. Elif. So is not tired should be not is tired and not as finished project. Not as finished project. So which simply means if he's not tired and has not finished his project, so we want something to be our output, we can just say that keep learning and coding, and just keep learning to code. Let's just leave it like this. Else print. What can we print? So let's just say that no, we can't just say that else. Sorry, let's say that elif not is tired, not is tired, or has finished project. So if he or she is not tired and has finished project, so we can see that go and learn more. As I'm still learning. So go and learn more. So what about we have elif. Okay, let's just type else and let's run the Python code. Else print, let's say that take a nap, right? Now let's run this code. We got take some rest. So it should be have some rest. So we have the output as have some rest because if he's tired and has finished project, he or she is tired and also he has finished his project. So we can say that have some rest. Then what if both is false? So let's say both to be false, right? So let's say both to be false. You're going to get um just keep learning to code like that. Keep learning to code. So because you are not tired and you haven't finished any project yet, so just keep learning to code. Keep learning. Now, what if he's not tired but has finished his project? So if tired is should be it should be false now, but finished project should be true. Now let's run this. We have go and learn more. It means that he or she is not tired but has finished a project. So go and learn more. So what if this is true? Is tired is equals to true, but has finished project is equals to false. We can say that take a nap. Just take a nap, maybe for like 2 hours and wake up back. 2 hours. No, a coda can take a nap of 2 hours. So just 1 hour or so. So just take a nap. That is just it for if else conditional statement in Python. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video.